We're flying.
Hello, Thaddeus. How are you? How are you doing, above all?
Better and better, better and better. Health is getting better and better. Such a complicated season this year, right? An injury I've never dealt with before, not something mechanical, but rather something that just happened, out of nowhere, but I've managed to get it under control. I'm already feeling very good and I'm waiting. I'm counting down the days until I can get back on the motorcycle.
Exactly. It seems to be haunting you a bit because David and I did the same thing this year. It's just something completely unusual for off-road riders, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, it's actually a pretty well-known story, right? In motocross, it often happens that someone gets hit by it once in a while. I think a lot of it has to do with our racing calendar, the amount of travel, the number of training sessions, exactly. And a virus like that can catch someone at just such a moment, right? And with some lowered immunity between trainings, between competitions, that's how it is.
It's a real shame, but it's great that you're here with us.
Thanks a lot, I'm happy to.
Actually, that's what I wanted to ask. Doesn't it just drive you crazy? Man, 6 weeks without a motorcycle with your work routine, what do you even do? Surprisingly, you're not fat.
Exactly. At the beginning, when this whole thing started to become clear, it wasn't so bad because I actually had to rest. At that stage of the treatment, there's this feeling of really intense fatigue, which at the time wasn't a problem, right? Resting and basically holding back from any kind of exertion. But ever since I started feeling better, it really became harder and harder to stop myself from, going on a jet ski or heading into the mountains or doing something. But understanding what that means,
Yes.
right? In order to fully recover, I had to hold myself back, and now things are really good. And I'm really happy, and like I said, I'm counting down the days until I can.
So you completely let it go. No stunts? No wild rides on the motorcycle?
No, there weren't any. I went once.
The doctor might see this.
Honestly, I went for a ride just once, but that was according to the recommendations, so to speak. But just to go for a ride, simply to see how I felt.
Great. All right. Listen, since we're definitely going to be watched by a lot of people who might not really know about your existence well, maybe they know you exist, but they don't know how it all happened. Could you give us a super quick summary of how you became a factory rider for KTM?
The story starts a very, very long time ago. That's when I started riding. It's already been 8 years that I've been with the KTM team. This is my 9th season. I started riding motorcycles actually with trial. My brother was competing. I wanted to be like my older brother too. My dad was really interested and so on and so on. It's a standard story. I managed to reach the professional level. In trial, I rode for several factory teams.
So you were competing in the World Championships?
That's right. I started competing in the World Championships as early as 1999, 2000. The first time in my life I competed was in 99, 2000, that turning point. So we've already got a few years behind us in this professional sport, right? The 2007 season it was a moment when, in a rather strange situation, I was having problems with the team. We just weren't getting along. The motorcycle wasn't really working. It wasn't going in the direction I expected the team to take. So we parted ways halfway through the season, and as a result of that split, for the first time in many, many years, I wasn't committed to any brand.
Were you bored?
Exactly. I was at home and I started to get bored. That was right after we ended that collaboration. So I went with my friend Bartek Lenduski to Erzberg. The rest of the story I think is already well known. I rode Erzberg, which I unexpectedly won, just as surprising for others as it was for myself.
Yes, maybe not everyone knows the story because it went like this. You started in the prologue on your own motorcycle and someone from KTM, if I remember correctly, noticed you and gave you a bike. Tadek, go. And you won it, right?
In short, yes. In short, exactly.
And from that moment on, you were already a factory rider because my friend here was asking me about that. Ask him if at the next last man standing, the next event in the USA, you were already a KTM rider? Or was that still kind of an extra test?
No. By that point in time, I had already signed a binding contract. After achieving victory at Erzberg, I had the significant choice of all the available and prominent motorcycle brands, along with all the possible, so to speak, advantageous perks that inherently come with such a prestigious achievement, with all the truly good and beneficial things that naturally come with it. I chose KTM because, as I said, I was a newcomer to Enduro, but I had been riding professionally for many, many years, and I know what it means to have the best equipment, and in trial I didn't always manage to get the top brands. And here, since I had a choice, it was obvious that my choice would be KTM.
And now, the most important question, because you said that from an early age you were training trial professionally, competing in world championships. So you really started as a kid. Did you even have time for a childhood? And there are rumors going around that you were a redhead when you were little and you didn't want to play with it, so you had to ride a motorcycle, which is something all the fastest people in off-road do.
There must be something to that. There must be something to it. The truth is, if you want to succeed in sports, you really have to start very young. And most athletes have a similar story. You have to say goodbye to a normal childhood. I'm lucky that I managed to get to the place where I am today. There are also stories where someone gave everything to sport and unfortunately it didn't pay off for them. But that's the price you pay. But it's not like there's no childhood at all. It's just a different kind of childhood. At that time we were on a motorcycle, and there are also people who have that kind of childhood too. And I think that's where the problem lies. That's the problem. And those who do have it, there are very few of them.
All right. Listen closely. So perhaps a little bit of advice for all the guys out there, or let's actually show our esteemed viewers precisely what it's truly all about in Poland. Look, we have a huge country, tons of enduro riders, tons of motocross riders. There are way more events happening here than other motorsports. So what's the deal? Why do we have so few people in the world championships on factory teams? Do you have any idea why?
Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Should we blame the riders for not putting enough energy into what they do? Or should we blame the fact that they don't have the opportunity to go abroad? It's hard to say. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I think everyone has their own individual story and has to somehow find their own way to that place to somehow make themselves known. But you have to be clear that at a very young age you have to put everything on that one card and go through all those hours, years, months, injuries, ups and downs.
So you don't see any kind of specifically Polish barrier, a wall that makes it harder for young guys to get started?
I think we don't have that. Even when it comes to our own backyard, there are more and more great competitions. We have fantastic places to ride. You can really get a lot of experience and learn to ride here in Poland without necessarily having to go abroad in the early stages. As of today, we already have a few good riders you can learn from, and I don't see a problem with that at all. Of course, later on it's clear that to take the next step you need some help, but if someone really wants something badly, I think it's achievable.
Exactly. So tell me, do you think Megawatt... We're talking now just a few days before Megawatt, but by the time people watch this, the event will probably be over. The first one was described by professional riders as a bit too easy. They were expecting a lot of hard enduro. It was a lot of fast riding. I know that this edition is supposed to be much more difficult. How do you see the future of this event? For example, could this be a place where factory team members show up and look for new talent?
First of all, regarding last year's event, I think that when someone said it was too easy, I don't really know who said that, because the third rider was 7 minutes behind us. So it probably wasn't that simple, it was 7 minutes back.
Well, I actually heard that from people who also wear orange gear. Rumors. Just rumors.
Exactly. Everyone thinks that way. If someone didn't win, people always have some story to tell. In my opinion, hard enduro isn't just about super technical riding. These competitions, this place allows for events of this kind, and its hard version is meant to be just like it is. And when Johnny and I were riding, we were going at such a pace that there were only a few seconds between first and second place, and the next rider was, minutes behind. So, in other words, it was hard. That's how I would sum it up.
And will there be any important people from the industry showing up this year? Will they be attending the event so that the young competitors have a chance to shine a bit?
Always. I mean, there's no such thing in motorsport as like in football, where someone goes around and observes because it's their job. But it's always good to make a strong impression at this kind of event. And if someone performs well, that opportunity is definitely there. After all, history shows this, both mine and that of many, many others. So there's definitely a chance like that. And these competitions are a great, like the cherry on top for these Polish divers who can build their season around it and try to test themselves here and show themselves to a wider audience. That's also why we brought this event to Poland. Maybe that's why we came up with the idea to have it here.
Exactly. We were just saying that we already have a few riders. One of them is Oskar Kaczmarczyk, who also did really well at Erzberg this year. But I'm going to spy on you a bit when it comes to Adam Tomaszek, because he's our guy. He tests motorcycles for us. We work together a bit there, as much as we can. And you had a chance to ride with him last year. Or what? Do you think he's got potential?
Adam is at a good level. He's at a point now where everything will really show over the next few seasons. He just needs things to come together a bit. He needs a bit more luck because so far he's been dealing with injuries all the time. If he manages to put the whole package together, so to speak, and really dedicates the right amount of time and effort to it, he definitely has a chance. But whether it works out or not, we'll only be able to say in a few years.
Well, that's great. We're keeping our fingers crossed for him, but let's get back to you. As we mentioned earlier, your current illness, you're already getting over it, so there's no point in talking about it anymore. But that's the result of hard work. In the recent years, you've mainly focused on one type of competition. That was Enduro Cross in the States. And isn't it a bit like, after so many years, because you have pretty much the same training, always the same kind of competition, doesn't it start to get a little boring?
I mean, competitions in general don't bore me because every event has its own story. They're different, right? There's a start, we have the same chance to win or lose. So in that respect, I don't think so. I definitely chose the discipline, specifically Enduro Cross, because I saw a great future in it when it comes to off-road. Off-road, meaning all the disciplines, let's say from rally enduro to hard enduro. In my opinion, it was something that was growing into the supercross, the supercross of off-road. And I think that's why I decided to take a step in that direction, and I believe it was a good choice. Besides, with the X Games and everything that followed, it showed that it was a bullseye. And like I said, I really did a lot. I experienced many seasons, and I have the opportunity, I have the comfort of being able to choose the series in which I want to compete. I'm, in the best team in the world, and I can choose what I want to do. As of today, it's certain that I'm returning to the Super Enduro series, but what will I be doing next summer? We'll make that decision with the whole team, I think, in the middle. Towards the end of this year.
Exactly, and is there even any significant talk about the Enduro World Championship at this particular moment? Because after all, fewer professional riders are currently competing there on KTM motorcycles. So it genuinely seems to me they truly need someone strong and highly capable to represent.
Exactly. There have been such talks. To be honest, this season I thought, actually I had planned to compete in a few rounds of the Enduro World Championship. Big changes were planned. Those changes are already here. We know what those changes in the Enduro Championship will be. They didn't go in the right direction at all. The KTM factory racing team is, so to speak, significantly cutting back its presence and involvement in certain areas. Also because the traditional Enduro World Championship has unfortunately lost a bit of its widespread popularity and appeal in recent times. I think the team will undoubtedly need those key and highly skilled riders more in specific places where they can truly get the absolute most out of their efforts and performance. So I honestly can't really provide a definitive answer to that particular question at this moment. As I said, I have this opportunity. I'm lucky enough to be a very versatile rider, and when it's true, I can be one of the contenders for victory both in the Enduro World Championship at Erzberg and in the arena. So I have quite a wide range, and if there's a cool offer with some great championships, then for sure my team and I will consider it.
Well, that's awesome. Listening to you, it actually makes this last question a bit pointless. Because Rossi once said, we need age, we need a cage, and is that even on your mind at all right now, or do you just ignore it and only think about motorcycles? Cars are on the back burner for now.
Cars are definitely my passion. Racing in general, and motorsport and so on, that's what I grew up with. I don't know anything else because to this day I haven't been doing anything else in my life. The only thing I might have done is rest between injuries just to get back to racing. I'm really drawn to cars. Last year I competed in Baja, Poland. I didn't manage to finish precisely because we didn't. It was actually a significant car malfunction. Yeah, the brake completely broke on me. The primary brake disc itself broke off, which subsequently tore off the entire caliper assembly. And luckily it happened in a very slow, controlled corner, preventing a much more serious incident. Good thing it didn't happen a few dozen meters earlier when I was coming in 6th gear. The pace was good. I was driving, those were literally my very first kilometers in a cross-country car. I had a great time. It was fun, and we still plan to compete in more races someday. So that's something I really enjoy. This is a future I'd like to try out more someday, somewhere. But for now, as long as I have the motivation to push on the motorcycle, I keep showing up on the bike.
All right, we really need to show your more human and relatable side so that the guys can truly connect with you. Tell me, when was the very last time you genuinely got a bit carried away by sheer bravado or perhaps a truly wild and impulsive idea? What's the absolute funniest or most incredibly embarrassing situation you vividly remember that you've ever done?
on the motorcycle, right?
Yeah, on the motorcycle, or it could be off the motorcycle too.
Off the motorcycle too. Honestly, I can't think of anything right now, but everyone makes blunders from time to time. Although for us, it's easier to get away with it because you can always say something unexpected happened. I really can't pick or remember any particular one at the moment,
Well, you must be a really calm person then. I have two questions.
but my memory is terrible.
Maybe that's why. Listen, these are the last questions from our viewers. The first one is very important. Have you ever gone 300?
The speedometer shows 299 as far as I remember, so I don't know if I actually did. I think I did, but it didn't show it.
It was something around that.
Something like that.
Was it cool?
It was cool, fast.
All right then. Okay. Another question. This time from my friend.
You didn't see the 299 show up. Maybe I didn't go that fast, but I don't know. I can't say. Let's just say that.
Consider yourself invited.
Let him be around.
When you are in Poland next year, Ninja H2 is waiting.
This is going fast.
I invite one last question from my friend because he's wondering what to do with all these motorcycles. I understand that you have to return some to the factory, but do you have any gems that you decide absolutely have to stay with you?
Yes, I always do. I always keep the motorcycles with which I won some championships or important competitions. So I have a few cool pieces in the garage. Someday when I settle down, I'll be able to look at them. So I have most of the motorcycles from the world championships I've won, from the States, for example, from Erzberg and a few other events. So I also have, well, they're stacked one on top of the other for now.
Good thing they're narrow. Listen, thank you so much for the conversation. It was a real pleasure. We even have some little gifts for you.
Awesome. Thank you. I love gifts.
Of course you do. Gifts are damn fantastic. First of all, here's an issue of Shot Motorcycling so you can read it on the plane. This is where we do our thing.
Very nice. How many years? 32.
So just a little while longer, especially for you. The motorcycle after 40 instead of a mistress.
Oh, awesome. But I have a Harley.
You have Harley?
Yes,
Man, that's glass, right? Harleys are the best.
that's absolutely right. I currently own a Sportster motorcycle, which I find to be quite enjoyable.
Yeah,
That's right.
1200.
No, it's the 883, the small one, but I've upgraded it to 1200. Exactly,
Yeah, you know which way.
because it doesn't really go anymore, and this one doesn't either.
A repair kit for the KTM.
Oh, now nothing will ever break on me again.
Man, if you always had that in your pocket, then
No, now,
every race would be yours.
exactly. Awesome. Thank you.
Bariwa gave you stickers for your motorcycle, but I said we can't afford for you to have them on your bike. Well, how could we? I won't say anything. Yeah, you won't say anything. All right, thank you. And most importantly, poster with our autographs.
Oh, now that's something. Thank you very much.
Bariwa on the poster. A handsome man, the fastest gypsy in town. Awesome, awesome.
Really very cool indeed.
Thanks again, Reddy.
Thanks a lot. It was a real pleasure today. Thanks. Taddy Błażusiak, greetings to all viewers and readers of Świat Motocykli.
Bariwa is cool, isn't it?
Awesome.
He is an incredibly greedy individual.